So what is sort of the purpose of all of our activity, of all of our striving and work and effort that we put into our days, and how does that compare to leisure? You know, is leisure rest, a break that we take from our labors, from our work all day, or is there something more to it? That's what this book is really examining. I've really enjoyed it. This is the second read for me, but there's so much more to it that you could read this so many times and still gain new insight into just the workings of your own mind and your own soul and your own heart. What I have kind of gleaned from it is the importance of having a sense of wonder in your day, and like a true sense of wonder, not like the questioning that is hopeful and joyful, and knowing that there's an answer even though you can't comprehend it, and you probably never will comprehend it. It's the ability to look at God's creation and express a certain amazement and bafflement at the reality in front of you, you know, that we can exist at all, that there can be, you know, beauty and you know, trees or nature, or, you know, you or me, people speaking, that this can actually be real. This wonder is like the heart of what real leisure is. And leisure, any leisure activities, they should be the highest forms of leisure, or the truest forms of leisure, are those which sort of encapsulate this sense of wonder. So he says that the highest form of leisure, classically speaking, historically speaking, has always been the sacrificial religious worship of festival days. And to me, that, you know, it encapsulates the whole thing, because it brings in the whole, it's not just something that you, no babe, you gotta stay out, I'm doing video, stay out, go play, go. Anyway, so it encapsulates the nature of wonder, because it's not a solitary, you know, an individualistic thing. It's not like, it's like, yes, it's an individual experience, but it's also a social experience. It's something that we all hold in common. This this sort of becoming face to face with the reality in front of us, and instead of despairing in hopeless agony at the impossibility of, you know, or the sufferings, or of all of the imperfections of this world, you look at all that is good, and all that is beautiful, and all that is true, and you focus on that, and you sort of marvel at it. Go out. You need to go out. And anyway, so and to do that together in community, as a society, raising up our spirits in this sort of acknowledgement that we are all have this existential need for philosophy, for wonderment at this world that we live in, at the God who created it, you know, and not getting sort of lost in the materialism that we see today. And I'll be talking to her, she's sleeping. And the materialism of today that only really focuses its attention on the here, on the now, on the material, on the useful. That's a big thing he talks about the most, is the useful and the practical. If you're not useful to society, then you, or if your ideas aren't useful, or, you know, but philosophy is one of the highest forms of, you know, that is the essence of leisure, is being able to philosophize, which is totally a useless activity. It's not supposed to have a purpose. It's supposed to just wonder and contemplate this world without any sort of agenda or trying to come up with a narrative or anything like that. Girls, Josephine, what are you doing? What's the matter? Jojo, come here. you spill water? Why is the water in the living room?
Because I wanted to paint.
Well, you needed to paint with your water in the kitchen. Okay, go take it in the kitchen. Play nice.
Now she jumped.
Alright, well, then I guess you're not playing with it, so go play with something else, okay?
Okay, this stupid.
Go on. Go on. Go play. Or be quiet in here. You can be in here if you're quiet. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Can you let me do my video? So you can sit here and be quiet, okay? You're kind of distracting me being there, so have a seat. Okay. So, I don't remember where I was, but I want to just give kind of like my takeaway from it. Obviously, he even writes in here that this is not supposed to give you a practical application for how to have more leisure in your life, but obviously that's what I'm trying to take away from it. Like, how can I apply this to my life as a mother whose work never ends, you know, who isn't part of the leisure class, you know, but who's still called as a human being to practice philosophy, to practice leisure, to practice having a sense of wonder, cultivating a sense of proper wonder at the world, at nature, at the beauty of creation, and cultivating this as a sort of aspect of your soul, or like not even an aspect, but the totality of your soul. That your heart is sort of always in this frame of reference of looking at the world through the lens of wonder, rather than through the lens of negativity or usefulness or materialism, which is sort of a dead and soulless way to see the world. Wonder like sees the holes of things. It's girls, quiet. You're waking up your sister. You be quiet. She's sleeping. So wondering at what actually is, instead of trying to, with our minds, trying to like comprehend what is and try to make it totally understandable to us or something, and very specific, and not that it's wrong to want to know more, but to have that sense that you can never know everything, to have that sense of mystery, that there's always more to be learned, that you're always going to have more to learn. Sorry, I had to make them leave. They were being too distracting. So in conclusion, I want to talk about basically like my takeaway from it, like what it means to me, that really the nature of leisure is something that we should be cultivating as a state of our being, as a state of our soul, as a state of our heart, and a way that we are kind of sort of continually ruminating on the goodness of this creation that we're in and wondering about it. So it's not something that you turn on and turn off when you go to work, or when, you know, there's the time for work and then there's the time for rest or something like that. It's a little more than that. It's a lot more than that. That work and usefulness have their place. You know, everyone has to go about your daily life, and there's chores and things to do, but that's not the highest good, or that shouldn't be distracting us from our real purpose, which is, you know, to have this state of our soul that is sort of always seeking to know more, and to know more fully and more perfectly the creator of this world, you know. So he talks a lot about wisdom, this divine wisdom, this divine having this sense about yourself that it's divine when you do it out of just love for its own sake, love of knowing your world, creation, and its creator for its own sake. It's not something that you're doing to sort of refresh yourself so that you can work hard, because it is refreshing, but so that you can go and work some more. You're not using it as a purpose for some other end. It's something enjoyable for its own sake. You know, wonder contains joy in itself, and you have this sense of love for anything beautiful and good and true, and the truth itself. Like, you have cultivated a sort of amateur love for knowing and for learning more and for experiencing more good things. So I guess my takeaway from this book, when I started to read it, I was really looking to be refreshed and to be sort of given a better focus and direction on, how to implement leisure in my life. And I came away from it thinking more about how can I sort of maintain a constant inner sense of wonder and an inner sense of philosophy that it's not this negative sort of philosophy of the world that is maybe a little disillusioned and sort of wretched, but a philosophy that's hopeful and that is full of wonder and love and joy, and to cultivate that instead, as opposed to this sort of, well, oh, why is the world this terrible way, or asking the question why, but in a sense not really seeking the true answer, but trying to point out some flaws or some negativity or something. That isn't the true leisure. True leisure is looking at the complexities and just wondering, gazing in awe at it. As he says, with music and art and poetry, all of these forms, and religion itself, it's kind of these modes of our ways of expressing this wonder that we encounter in our life. So anyway, that's my takeaway from this book. I don't know if you've read this book. If you have, then I would love to see your comments and hear from you about what you took away from it and what you really liked. I mean, he goes into a lot more that I don't even touch on, but that was my takeaway. I would love to know what you're reading this week. If you could put it in the comments and let me know what some book recommendations are that maybe would go along with this. This is kind of the groove I'm in right now, just trying to think of creating a more leisurely, truly leisurely life that has the proper focus on love of God above all things. So if you found this video interesting, or you like this sort of thing, I think I'm going to be doing more book related videos in the future. It's just what interests me, and right now I'm uploading once a week, and for now that's how it's going to stay probably this year. We'll see how this little channel grows, but I'm really here to contemplate the richness of our Western tradition and the classics, and especially with a special focus on philosophy and the humanities. So just those things that I love personally that I don't really get a chance to talk to most people about, because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm doing dishes and laundry all the time and taking care of my kids, and I don't get to have these conversations about philosophy that I would love to have maybe as much. So here's my chance to have this conversation with you. So please drop some comments below and let me know what's going on, what you think of this book or this video, and what you want to see more from. So anyway, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.